The views and opinions expressed on This Can't Be Adulting are solely those of the host and do not represent or reflect the views of any individual, organization, employer, or entity we may be affiliated with. The content of this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised. Yo, welcome to This Can't Be Adulting, the podcast where two guys who probably should have it all figured out absolutely don't.
Careers, money, relationships. No one handed us a manual, so we're figuring it out the only way we know how, with real talk, deep dives, and a whole lot of laughs.
I'm Herb.
And I'm Derek. And if you're out here wondering, am I doing this right? Trust us, you're not alone.
So hit play, relax, and let's figure this out together. Yo, what's up? Welcome back to This Can't Be Adulting Season 2, Episode
13. Holla.
I was going to say, I don't even know how to say it now.
Trece. This motherfucker said treces. I thought you were about to say tres leches, bro. This fucking guy over here.
Me gusta.
Oh, my.
Tres leches.
Oh, man, you need to start learning his Portuguese, because my man going to Brazil next week. What was that? This guy, bro, you about to get
I don't even know. I don't even know a word, bro.
Where are you going in Brazil? Rio de Janeiro?
Sao Paulo. Gonna be in Sao Paulo for 2 days, and then Rio de Janeiro for 3 days.
And Sao Paulo's inland? It's not by the
they're
beach.
both on beach.
Oh, they're both on the beach?
They're both the coast.
Isn't it like wintertime down there or getting colder?
You might be right, because south of the equator, right?
Yeah, south of the equator. And it's more south than Colombia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Brazil
Colombia's
is
right on the equator.
low, bro. Like, you don't understand like how far it is and how big Brazil actually is. Like, Brazil is massive,
Fucking
and
huge.
like the flight is crazy.
And only like 150 million people there.
Yeah, only.
Well, for
Only.
being such a big country?
Yeah, only.
Surprising.
Only. But it has the largest city in
In the world?
in America.
Really?
In America.
Real?
Huh?
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
that. I know
yeah.
what you meant. Really?
So like
It's got to be real? What is it? Or one of those?
Rio.
We can look it up, bro. Sorry, man. I'm all...
Rio?
Yo,
Rio. Yeah. Rio.
most populous city in the Americas. What we got here? Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo.
11.8 million, about 12 million people. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Within city limits, over 23.4 million
That's
in the
crazy.
metropolitan area.
That's crazy, bro. And they live in Flavas.
Favelas.
Yeah, see, I'm working on it. Favelas. Favelas.
My man about to get cooked out there, dog.
Absolutely. But I'm looking forward to, like, bro, I'm a steak eater, bro. And they talk about the beef down there.
Yeah.
Brazilian steakhouses, obviously, bro.
There's some yams down there.
See, here you go.
Had to be me.
Here he
My
go.
bad. I heard.
It's funny you bring that up because obviously on our last episode,
I was just gonna talk about this.
did you talk to my girlfriend?
No, but I talked to Christy.
Oh,
And she texted me.
well, yeah. So I'm
Tell the story.
yesterday my girl she listening. She texted me 2 days ago and she's like listening to the show, and I was surprised. I'm like, wait, you're listening to the show?
I was about to say it. She texted me about it too.
I was like, you're listening to the show? And she was like,
She's not a listener.
yeah, right.
She supports her man, but
Yeah.
she says it's not her cup of tea.
Exactly. Which I understand. Whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways,
problem.
she was like, so who are these girls that you and Derek was with when these girls came up to y'all? And I was like, what? And she was like, you said on your podcast that Derek told the story of girls coming up to us and us not knowing what to do. And I was like, we were with you and Christy.
Yeah.
She was like, what are you talking about? Derek said it just happened. I was like, it was during Christmas.
Yeah, it was great. I
Like,
didn't say it just
Derek
happened.
said it just the last time we were all out. I was like,
That
that
was-
was the last time we were
was all
all
together.
out. And she just like, I was like, this is the craziest thing. I just started laughing at her. I was like, you thought that we were talking about you are the girls. You and Christy are the girls.
Christy just texted me. Christy, who watches, she does watch. She texted me yesterday, and she's like, okay, now I have to know. I'm super curious. Who are these girls that you were with? Like, Christy trying to act like Christy, I'm just curious. Nah, you was trying to get dirt.
Yeah.
And so I sent her a voice note when I got a run club yesterday. I started laughing. I was like, Yo, it was the last time we were all out. It was you and Bishop. Y'all went to the bathroom. Me and Herb stayed out, and these girls came up to us. And then y'all came out. We were like, we got to go. And we left with y'all. I was like, Chrissy, I don't think you noticed, but Bishop definitely noticed.
I said, we talked. That's the same thing. I said, we told y'all. We talked right in the moment. It's like, y'all didn't remember, but Derek and I obviously remember.
Yeah.
Like, yo. So, yeah, we laughed at that. That was hilarious. I forgot. I was wanting to bring that up.
I was going to text you about it, but I was like, nah, he's coming here, so I'm going to ask him about it on the pod.
That was definitely, I was like, I got to bring to tell the story of like how they talk. She thought she called me up on the podcast talking about some who are those girls, and she's the girl.
Yeah, it was funny because in the middle of the conversation, Herb was like, these girls came in the middle of the conversation on the podcast. You were like, these girls came up to us, and these girls probably like, who are these dudes? Because we didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, well, that's because we were girls.
Yes,
that's the part that you did,
and that's what she.
I just didn't say we were with your girl. I didn't say names, but like, yeah.
But still, I thought they were. I thought she remembered the story, so I thought that. Yeah, it was just so funny when she brought it up to me, and I was like, when she told me she was listening to the podcast, I was like, okay, that's weird, but all right. And then she's like, well, I heard about these girls. I was like, who told you about that? You definitely aren't listening to the podcast. And she's like, no, I listen. I was like, well, we didn't say anything about any girls. And then she told me the story.
Oh, well, like, it was literally the clip that I put on Instagram, though.
And that's what she said. Derek teased it on the clip. I was like, good tease, by the way.
Great tease.
I guess that's
it. Got engagement.
There we go. Good tease. Yeah,
I got engagement.
I got engaged over here. Not that way. I got engagement over here.
Oh man, that's so funny.
But yeah, that was a good. That was hilarious. So
yeah, I'm having a little technical difficulty. I'm sorry. This mic, because I'm trying to have. You're gonna have to cancel all this. I'm trying to have not the cables hit the table here or hit my leg. All right. So let me do this here. All right, we good.
Tighten it up there.
All right, we good. Yeah, I gotta tighten up here.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some noise. My bad. All right.
I'm watching this edit. I'm about to put the zoop on the zoop.
You know what recommendation that somebody gave us recently is to go live on Twitch.
Twitch bro. I've been seeing that because I've on my Twitter or X or whatever. I've been seeing a lot of the young kids with Adrian Broner that he's been doing a lot of this Twitch, and everybody keeps saying that.
The boxer?
Yeah. He does a Twitch with one of the guys, Dean the Great, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
It's been getting a lot of views, and they just like hanging out in the houses and stuff. But I did think about like going.
They're
like,
maybe all famous though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like Twitch seems to be like if you blow up on Twitch, like that seems to be the place to be. And the same thing too, because I've been seeing Jaylen Brown. I didn't realize he does Twitch now, so he's on Twitch live all the time.
That's right. Oh, okay, all right. So we just gonna be twitching and live. What we doing?
I mean, season 3.
Oh,
we're about halfway through. We're officially halfway through season 2. It's episode 13.
That's crazy.
Here's what I'm thinking for the rest of season 2, because I think we agree that we want to do 25 episodes per season.
Yeah.
We only did 22 last season.
Okay.
I think we do 28 this season to compensate for last season.
All right.
And then we hit up season 3 because I got some ideas. You know, I'm just talking on the fly here. We're just spitballing here. You've got some ideas as well of what we can do with some of our posts on Instagram to introduce some of the things. We got to hash all that out. I will say this. The next time you're back for the next recording, we're going to have some stuff, some more decorations out here. So
bro, that is so funny because I was literally thinking about it, like, man, the one thing we got to do, after seeing other people's, after you showed me one of your friends set up their podcast and stuff, and I'm like, man, the environment, we got to get the aesthetics going around here.
We got to get this shit going.
It's beautiful as we are over here, obviously, and as beautiful as the painting is. We may need to add a few more things, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna add something. I'm going plant shopping on Monday with Christy, so I'm gonna drop some dollar bills.
Going to the nursery.
Yeah, I'm going to the nursery.
Okay.
You just heard about the money that I stumbled upon, so you know what I mean. The boys out here gonna splurge for this can't be adulting.
I mean, come on, it's only one way to do it. What are you gonna save it? How would you do that?
It's not like I'm fucking only working part time or anything. You know what I mean?
You can't take it with you.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Who you saving it for? Who you gonna leave it for? Hey, with us right now to the podcast. Everything go to the podcast.
The podcast, man.
Well,
let's jump into it. Whatever.
Yo,
we got this episode that we were supposed to drop and record last week, but we did an audible and went into Dating 2.0 after the story that I told.
Yes.
Right?
Very interesting.
Well, I think it was very successful.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, update on that.
Oh, God.
Update on that. Oh, God. I finally talked to the chick again at work.
Okay.
I finally talked to the chick. I did not ask her, did not do anything. It was just I just wanted her to understand that there was no awkwardness. Yes. I didn't want her to think that I was being awkward about the situation.
Yeah.
Nah, but like I told you, we had never really crossed paths again since then.
Obviously. Yeah, it could easily gotten awkward. And you don't want to make it awkward for her where you work and she lives.
Yeah, and I just don't want her to be like, oh, this doesn't. Nah, because honestly, it was more of a shocker, like I said, that like I misread that.
Agreed.
But other than that, that's all it is. Like if you're not into it, you're not into it. But I finally saw her yesterday, and it was just like I was closing out the museum, and I walked out, and she was just there, and I was like, "Oh, what up, girl? What's going on?" And we just had a normal conversation. We was catching up. I was giving her pup some treats. It was all cool. It was all great.
That's what's up, though.
Yeah. So
yeah, man, y'all be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe she got some friends then.
Imagine, yo, what's up? You got.
That ain't creepy at all.
Not at all. I've had a couple of girls text me after this episode. Girls, I mean, talking about like my female cousins and stuff that listen to the podcast. They're like, no, Herb, do not tell Derek to go. Ask her why she said no. Do not do that.
Really?
Yeah, all the girls are like, I'd be mortified. Do not do that. And I'm like, yo, Herb be on some shit, dog. There's no way I was going to do that, dog.
I want to know.
No.
Yeah, just science. Like, dang, women.
We got a podcast. Yeah, how would that go over it?
Exactly.
I feel like every time a girl hears that we got a podcast, they automatically assume on some red pill shit.
No, but then I pull up, well, maybe.
I assume. I didn't say they were right, because then I'm always like, because every time I do talk about it, I'm like, it ain't some red pill shit. I promise you, we some different types of dudes. We talk.
That's exactly what some red pill shit ass dude would say, but anyway.
We red pill shit. Y'all let us know. We keep getting sidetracked. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
But,
I'm gonna kick this over to you because this was your idea this episode. So, what you feeling? What you thinking? How you want to approach this? Let the viewers know.
Well, 2 episodes ago we spoke about gambling and we were talking about kind of addictions, and one of the things we kind of was differentiated between, or I was trying to differentiate between, was gambling addiction and substance abuse. And as we ended out the podcast, specifically if you see that it's titled Gambling, part 2 of that I wanted to do was on substance abuse, and that's where we were going to go with the next episode. However, after, as Derek mentioned, last week we went with the Derek's dating story, which was quite entertaining, and we'll continue to go down that road. But want to circle back and maybe talk about substance abuse, especially as growing up. I know I've mentioned several times that growing up, I grew up around a lot of, anyone that grew up, I will say, around the 80s, 90s era. You kind of came through that like drug era, and along with like the war on drugs. I would say.
It's massive. We've talked about that, and
it's just it's something I wanted to just see how it's affected like going forward, and the new kind of substance abuse that you see out here. And I will personally say, like, this definitely has had a personal impact on me. Experiences and growing up, and just being hit close to home several times. So I would, it's just something we want to circle back and just have a conversation on, and maybe tie off, our abuse addiction episodes.
Yeah, because we've had a few. We talk about alcohol, even though we talked. There was pockets of that episode on alcohol, which was this season, I believe, actually earlier this season, on alcohol.
Yep.
That dealt with the addiction of it, the substance abuse of it, which I think we'll probably talk about again here, because alcohol is a big part of that. It's a substance.
Yes.
And we talked about addiction in gambling.
Yes.
And so in this specific episode, we're going to talk about addiction to substance abuse. I think the main thing you were talking about last episode was the difference was no one's going to die because of gambling necessarily. If they do die because of gambling, it's not the direct. You're not going to die because you're rolling too many dice.
Right,
sure.
right.
You're specifically maybe talking about you could die by overdosing.
Yeah.
By drinking too much.
Addictions that have a direct impact on like your health.
Okay. Let's define addiction first. So I've got a definition here so that we're all on the same page.
Let's start with it.
Addiction occurs because substances fundamentally alter the brain's chemical reward and motivation systems. While experimentation often begins voluntarily, repeated use changes brain chemistry and structure, stripping away self-control and driving compulsive behavior despite harmful consequences. All right, so here it's obviously talking about substances.
Right.
But there's obviously a lot of parallels with the stripping away self-control, driving compulsive behavior despite harmful consequences when talking about also gambling or sex addiction or stuff like that. So that's kind of the first thing there. What was your understanding of substance abuse? When did that come into play? It sounds like you have some personal experience, and by personal, I don't mean like you yourself, although we could argue with the turtle box, but that we all. But I think you were talking about just in your life, people around you, maybe.
Yeah. So like just growing up, like I said, I grew up in a small town. But one of the funny things, I won't say funny, one of the unfortunate things that I experienced growing up was seeing the impact and the influence of crack cocaine on like my family, my neighbor, like my community, and the impact that it had. And I just remember like growing up, like that was the worst thing that could possibly happen to someone is, get addicted to crack. But you would see family members that were addicted to it, and they were ended up homeless and walking the street. You would see like, people that, in my grade, they would graduate high school, they would, maybe get a job for a little bit, then eventually would fall victim to this. And you would see them like homeless, and it was just like crazy to think of like these are relatives, cousins of mine. I remember growing up with this person, seeing them from there. Like we grew up from the ages of 5, 6, 7, and then you get to the age of like 19, 20, and they're homeless and like addicted, and it's just like crazy to just go back and think. And then also seeing just the impact also of like the people that was selling it. Well, I mean, you were literally at this time in early night, like you had brothers selling to sisters, you had obviously cousins selling to cousins. So it was just so crazy to just like seeing growing up around. And I just remember like telling myself like that really like for me, I remember just growing up and just like the whole dare and going through that, like the whole drug abuse. Like
you said, really, you got scared straight.
Oh, absolutely, bro. That's like I really took into like, no, bro, I'm never doing drugs. And I will say greatly, thankfully, my parents were adamant. My brother, my mom, and then my dad dealt with this personally. He had to deal with it, so I didn't even see it in my home how addictions happen and like just the impact of it, and like seeing people like going bent. Like it was just like crazy, like growing up having these experiences, but also like saying like just seeing in the community, in your neighborhood, in your family, and it's just like, man, I just remember thinking to myself like, girl, I'm never going to be like that. So it scared me straight. I never wanted to be around drugs. I didn't want to be around people that had drugs. Like that definitely stuck with me until I was definitely in my late 20s, early 30s.
Until you met Christy.
Basically. All downhill after that, right? All downhill. Look back at myself and like, all downhill.
I'm just kidding. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. So, first of all, sorry, that's brutal. Sorry to hear that was what you witnessed. Usually in those situations when you grow up around some of those things and seeing those things and seeing someone or many people close to you in your life struggle with substance abuse, the person goes down one or two routes.
Yep.
One route is they follow that same route.
Yep.
And they go through the substance abuse and they go through all that because that's what they know. And the second route is they don't ever want to do that shit ever again.
Yep.
Or not ever again. They just never want to touch that shit.
Yep.
And I know a couple people like that too. There was this cat that I worked with back in Massachusetts. Cool cat to this day, just one of the coolest cats ever. He never drank. He never drank because his dad was an alcoholic.
Yes.
And so he told himself growing up, the things that he saw, he's like, I will never touch alcohol. He said he touched alcohol once, and it was he played ball at a small D3 college out there, but he was pretty good, and I think they were going for like conference championships. So he was the senior year, he was captain, and he told his players, they were like, all right, look, if we pull this shit off, I'll have a beer with y'all tonight. And so they pulled it off. They won. They went to the bar. He was like, I had half a Miller Lite, and I just left that shit there. And that was it. But, like, anyways, my point is with all that is, like, that's usually the two routes that people
absolutely
went.
yes.
So you went this other route, the correct route. But I want to explore, I want to hear a little bit more about, if you remember, what the progression looked like for the people that you knew in terms of getting addicted to the substance abuses. Like, you said you remember them when they were younger, blah, blah, they were like completely sober. Do you remember when they were getting into it and how that progressed and what that looked like?
Yeah. So it's so funny because one of mine, he graduated with me. He started selling.
So he's our age.
Yeah. He's he may be a year old. He's a year older than me, but we graduated same class. But he started selling it, and as soon as he graduated, came from a single parent home. Mother raised him. Had three other brothers. I would definitely say, they lived. I mean, it was all family. We all related, but I would say they definitely were one of the socioeconomic or economically speaking, lower than even some of the people in the neighborhood. So I would say that. So then whenever he graduated, he started selling, and then he was selling weed, and then at the time, you know, he progressed from selling weed to selling crack, and then that's kind of how it went. Well, he was smoking weed as well, and they started putting cocaine on the started lacing it, making primos, and then after he started doing that, next thing you know, he went from selling it to doing his own, and then next thing you know, he was a user. And this probably happened all within 3 months.
3 months.
3 months. Like, I'm not talking about, this ain't a year progression thing, bro. This happened so fast. Like, it went happening.
When I heard 3 come out, I thought you were gonna say 3 years.
No, when I told the story I tell you about, I told last week about losing my check gambling, or 2 weeks ago. It was at his place. It was at him and another one of my cousins. They were older, so they lived in the home together. When we were in high school, they had a home together, but it was at his place. But yeah, this was 3 months after high school. Like within 3 months.
And so he started using, you started using, don't mean, and then he was just addicted?
Yeah. Always. And since then, he's been addicted ever since
that's
then.
it. But he's still around.
Yeah, he's still around.
Been locked up?
Oh, hell yeah. He's been locked up here and there. I mean, yeah, he's been locked up and all kinds of stuff.
And he comes back on, he just goes back on.
Yep. Very unfortunate.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was one. I could think of another relative of mine that's really going through it right now, or he got addicted to fentanyl, and that's been scary because that's just something. I had a relative.
That's a shit a 50-50 gamble right there.
OD,
like at least with some of them, it's like 10-15%. Now like fentanyl is 50-50.
Yeah.
You might die with whatever it is.
But I had a relative 2-3 years ago. He may have been about 3 years younger than me, but yeah, he OD'd on fentanyl. He was addicted to it. Went to jail. A lot of times whenever they go to jail and they clean up a little bit, their tolerance lowers. So when he got out, if you go and do the same amount that you did whenever you went in, it had a lot of people OD that way. And that's what happened to him. He ended up ODing that way. Got out of jail, went and did it, OD'd. It's crazy. Like, bro, like substance abuse is something that's been even when I go back now, I still I still see relatives they're addicted to it. There's a few crackheads. You don't really see that much, but you are seeing like a lot of people are addicted to the opioids and like the fentanyl and all this stuff that day. And even the difference between, I would say, now and back then was that you couldn't be a crack user and a crack seller. Like you couldn't do that. Like
you wouldn't be able to.
You can't do those two. Now, even the people that are like selling the fentanyl and stuff, they also are users. And it's crazy. I'm like, that's kind of weird. So, but even now, I go back home, I still see it. Like, it's still.
How did it make you feel seeing them in that process, in that transition, in the moment? I know how you feel now, but do you recall how it made you feel in the moment?
Yeah, it's even still kind of saying it is just crazy because I just think back to like, dang, it's almost like trying to like take a step back and like seeing it from like having this empty and seeing from their perspective and trying to imagine what their life's like and like what happened, and if they went back. And he I would talk to him. He talked about it. Ask him about it. He like, yeah, he wish he never did this, and like he can't help it, but it's like chasing a dragon. He'll tell a crazy story, and then you'll see him, 30 minutes later, and you see him high, and he's a completely different person. And you're like, God, you're just seeing somebody that's on. If you ever been around somebody that's on like a substance like crack and stuff, they like real paranoid and doing stuff, and you're like, bro, can't even be around, like be in a room and stuff like this. But yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's
so. To me, the way I look at addiction and substance abuse is it's a sickness. It's a disease. I think, unfortunately, we live in a society, particularly Western society, that demonizes substance abuse and addiction to a T. And this is me just having an epiphany right now, which maybe it's not an epiphany. I think everybody knows that. But you said something very important about your first relative who, within 3 months, he had that. You said that they were lower on the socioeconomic scale.
Yes, yeah.
And I'd be willing to say that most of the people, we can probably look this up, and Herb will throw the stats up when he's doing the editing for this video. Most people who have some sort of substance abuse addiction are from the lower socioeconomic scale, which also goes to show what populations in this country are in the lower socioeconomic scale.
Right.
Black and brown people.
Yes.
Indigenous folks. there's a lot of substance abuse addiction problems for indigenous folks.
Oh, yes.
Because they've been, and let me not say, because all these marginalized communities have been fucked over.
Absolutely.
For such a long time.
Yeah.
And continuously be fucked
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And so substances is a way to, again, I'm no professional. We'll put some stats up when we can. Herb's not a professional. I'm just speaking from my opinion. Substance abuse is a way of an escape from hardship.
Yes. Yeah.
From all those things. Right. And it comes down to lack of, I want to say leadership. I want to say role models probably in a lot of people's lives, but that's not even the right way. The lack of structure, I would probably say.
Yeah.
And when you don't fucking know, when you don't have good education, when you don't have good jobs, when you don't have good pay, like, and you think that society has essentially thrown you away, which a lot of people in these communities feel like. I mean, it's like, why not? Why not feel good?
Escape it. And access.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to get. Again, I'm in a neighborhood. Like, I'm talking about a small town, small country, and you can get whatever drug you wanted to get, but I bet it's hard pressed to get an Uber out there or a DoorDash. You couldn't get that out there, but you could easily get any of the, access to alcohol and things like that.
Well, this is crazy. This goes to show. Again, I know we're talking about substance abuse, but this just piles on to a larger macrocosm of the issues. I mean, you see where I live. You live in a white neighborhood, for all intents and purposes. Let's just call it a upper scale, a bit of an upper scale neighborhood. I live in a predominantly minority based neighborhood. There's certainly white people here. But I live outside of Austin. You drive around here. Yeah. Do you see an HEB?
No.
Do you see any healthy eating here? What do you see here? Just gas stations. Just gas stations.
Yeah, and the liquor store.
And liquor stores.
You got the liquor store.
You got like 3 liquor stores within like a half a mile radius.
Yeah.
That's on purpose. That's not an accident.
Yeah.
That's not an accident. And I say that to say, same thing with drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, this goes back to, you said, the crack epidemic. It's already well documented that in the 1970s, Richard Nixon wanted to have hated people that hated the Vietnam War. All right? Hated people that hated the Vietnam War, the hippies, and hated black people. That's just the reality of it. So what did he do? Well, the Civil Rights Act had just passed, so you can no longer, let me not say no longer, it was harder to just arrest black people just for being black, whatever the case is. So he wanted to find ways to do that. So he decided to criminalize weed, because that's all the hippies and people that were detractors in the Vietnam War did. They smoked weed. And crack. He started demonizing war on drugs. And literally the FBI and the feds
and CIA
were just throwing fucking crack cocaine into the hoods everywhere.
A war on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The whole conscious. But yeah. But again, that's the access. Again, they give you what you want. They give you what they want. Sorry, they give you what they want to give you. And that's unfortunate, I would say. And I will say, I don't know why, but this also reminded me. We've been speaking of drug addiction. Flip side of this, I have seen alcohol abuse and alcohol addiction in a completely different light, because I grew up around a lot of functioning alcoholics.
Yeah.
Like I could think of one of my uncles who was probably ran a very successful construction company for years until he died. And he was basically a functioning alcoholic. Like, he was always, under, but he was able every single day. He showed up and did the work, and he was a great. But I just saw him like he I don't know.
So it was normalized. So it was a little normalized. Yeah.
Like the men in the neighborhood, it was a lot of functioning alcoholics in the neighborhood, and it was just very normal.
Well, a bit of a difference there too is the fact that alcohol is legal, and most of those substances that we're talking about are not.
Yeah.
The other ones.
Yes.
Right. So there's also this mind game, this psychological game where it's like, well, that's legal.
Oh, that's okay. Yes.
It's not as bad.
Yep. There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it might be a little harder for this, but there's definitely people that are functioning in society today that smoke a shit ton of weed.
Oh, yeah.
100%. And weed is a little more legal, but it's technically legal.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But people will look at that and be like, oh, that person smokes weed. That's weird. Like, I'd be pressed to say, there's people that we work with that I wouldn't say that.
That's what made me, honestly, it wasn't, and part of the whole me experimenting, with substances was growing up. Only way I saw it was, if you did this, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. This is all I saw. And then it was being reinforced in my community. I was like, all the people that do drugs are like this. I'm never doing that. So I'm like, heck no.
Isn't that crazy?
And then I got into corporate America, and I'm like, wait, what? Everybody?
Propaganda.
Everybody.
Propaganda, bro.
And I was like,
they like to paint this pretty picture. You could be
successful and still people go way crazier. I was, in some things than what I even seen growing up, and I'm like, dang, that is crazy.
Well, this is the reality. That's also the propaganda that I'm talking about, like the media, culture. Again, I'm gonna repeat, when I say culture, I'm talking about TV shows, movies, music, even certain music. Showed America for a long time what they wanted us to see. They would always show the criminalization of black and brown people getting arrested for doing drugs and being drugged up. They would rarely show white people. They would never show corporate America. They would show corporate America being hardworking people. They're not going to be like, oh, but there's a big drug problem, because there is.
Yes.
Like the amount of coke.
In the 80s and 90s?
In the 80s and 90s, that was in every and Wall Street. I mean, you know what showed this really, really well? Wolf of Wall Street, the movie.
Yeah.
Which didn't come out until the 2000s.
Right.
2010s. But like, that took place in the 80s, and it was drugged the fuck out on Quaaludes, on like all substance abuse.
And if you work in the corporate America, I mean, it's not. I would say you probably haven't seen it openly like that, especially nowadays. But behind the scenes, I mean, you'd be surprised. I don't say you wouldn't be surprised. It's interesting.
I was surprised because, similar to you, we talked about this too. I was like you. I never did drugs. It was never for me. I said I'm never gonna do that stuff. Like, blase. And I was clean for sure through college. Played an athlete. Yeah, I was an athlete. Living in DC, like never.
It was a badge of honor too.
Yeah, it was good. Even when I was back home in Rhode Island.
Yep.
It wasn't till like, I want to say like, was it a few months? It was a few months before I came out to Austin, where I did my first drug, and I did Molly for the first time.
Okay.
And it was because I was drunk and I took it, and it was one of the best things that I'd ever done. It was fucking phenomenal. It was phenomenal. But then I moved to Austin. Shit. I remember when somebody busted out a baggie for the first time. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was 27 years. I was 28 years old.
Same,
I was
bro.
So confused, dog.
We were going through the same experience at the same time.
Like, what the fuck?
And the same place at the same time. We were going through with the same people.
Yeah,
bro.
with the same people.
With the same people at the same time, the same experience. Because I remember the first time somebody busted out a bag, I'm like, oh, what? I can't. And
clutching our pearls.
What? In high school, I was just thinking, like, bro, in high school, if somebody would have pulled out a bag, bro, I would have ran so fast out of that. I would have jumped out of the car.
I would have been out, bro.
Like, if you have it, if I would have walked into a place and I heard that somebody had it in their pocket, I'd be like, oh, I got to leave. Everybody's going to get shot up in here. They're about to spaz out and shoot everybody up in here. No way. Like, bro, it's just crazy. And then, it got to the...
And the reality is, that's just Western culture.
Yeah.
And I can't speak to every other cultures. I don't know. I know Europe, it's kind of the same way too. But like, my point is the message I'm trying to convey is that as much as America and the media and culture has tried to portray the drug problem as strictly a marginalized minority community problem, it's really not.
Right.
It's really not.
Right, of course.
And even substance abuse. But it became this whole public health issue when people started becoming addicted to opioids. Now all of a sudden, because now it's affecting the white community. Now it's affecting mom and dad. Affluent people.
In suburban America. Like,
suburban. Oh, now we got a problem.
And I know it's very. I don't want to say, but I know it's not a new thought process or a new statement. But it is very interesting. Again, growing up in the 90s as a black community, seeing what the crack epidemic did to our community. And then to see this take place in someone else's community, and for us to be like, we know exactly what y'all talking about, and we told y'all this, and y'all sent us like, bro, I had relatives that went to jail for selling weed for like 5, 10, 15 years.
That's crazy, bro.
For selling weed, bro. For selling weed back and that's like, nobody died. Like, they was doing sting operations on people was going to jail for years, bro. I have many relatives that did lots of time for selling weed.
Yep.
And it's just like, dang,
crazy.
Now it's legal.
Yeah, now it's legal. Now barely, you're not gonna see any doctors going to jail for overprescribing opioids.
Right.
Like, not happening.
Yes.
Like,
Come on, bro.
what the fuck are we talking about? Like,
nobody, they didn't start locking up, bro.
On some shit, bro. It's crazy. And so it's just, it's just fucking insane. But like, this is the reality that we live in, and this country has racism embedded into its structure. That's just the reality, and that's a lot of what it comes down to. It's this demonization. It's making people look like they made personal choices, and only they are the ones that bear the responsibility of where they are today, as opposed to looking at the systems and structures that are in place that created the environment for this to occur.
Right.
And I tell you this all the time. I'm all about personal accountability and agency, but what I fucking hate, especially what's getting pushed today, and arguably what's been pushed for a very long time, is this idea that there aren't systems and structures in place that also bear some responsibility, if not most responsibility. Yes, someone made the choice to pick up that baggie and to lace it with that. I'm not saying that.
Right.
However, that would be severely reduced if the systems were balanced, if the systems were fair, if the systems actually looked out for the everyday common person. But I'm talking.
But then my advantage would start to feel like a disadvantage. And although I may not recognize my advantage, I'm damn sure gonna feel my disadvantage, and I'm gonna speak up about that. And I think that's what we're seeing, is everybody's being like, you're not at a disadvantage, just even. You feel like your advantage is, we're just saying you shouldn't get an advantage.
Equality feels like oppression to them. Equality feels like oppression to them. So yeah, like I said, the whole substance abuse thing, to me, I think it's a disease, because I'll be honest with you, even like my parents, who they're minorities, they're Colombians born here, like they view all that shit extremely negatively. And
I could see that.
Oh, look at this guy's a drug addict and blah blah. And it's like, dog, like we gotta have some self compassion. Like you don't know what systems, and and I'm sure a lot of immigrant parents feel the same way too, where they're like, oh, I grew up in shitty conditions too, and they do the whole, I pulled myself from the bootstraps, and I was able to figure out, I didn't turn into a drug addict or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you are less than 1% of the percent. I think so many of us in the story that we're told, the myth that we're told, is that we're all built the same. And since we're all built the same, what I mean by that, I mean
unalienable rights.
Psychologically, mentally, no one takes into consideration generational trauma that's passed on to your actual genes that can be tested in your physical cells, genes of your body. The generational trauma that most African Americans have in this country due to slavery, that is felt in their cells. That was people don't take that into consideration. People don't take into consideration chemical imbalances that you're born with in your head. Like, everyone is not built the same.
Yeah.
And so not everyone's going to be able to maybe pull themselves out of a situation like you were. Yeah. Like, it's just not how that shit works.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, everybody has. It's not the same environment for everyone.
No.
And that's what I would say makes a big difference in between someone to be successful or not successful. I would say is that the environment you're in and raised in, and like, can you focus on being successful, or even what successful is successful just making to the age of 19? Like, some people just want to make it to the age of 19, where other people are like, at 19 I need to be at this place and on my way to get my doctorate, a lawyer or something like that. And it's like, people are I'm not even afforded that. But I know we get on substance abuse, and I would just speaking on the topic, just saying, it's just, I was going to ask was, once you did experience with substances, how did it make you evolve, change? Did you look at yourself differently?
Did I look at myself differently? It gave me a lot of realizations. That I have a very extreme personality. And that I could be very susceptible to addictive behaviors. And it was scary. It was scary at times, because there were moments when I would take certain substances a little too much. And by too much, I mean more so frequently, maybe not too much. Like, I was never like OD.
Not the quantity, but the
not OD or nothing, but like the frequency. I remember I went through like a 2-month stint where it was like every other weekend. I was popping some Molly.
Like a turtle boxing over here.
Like, turtle box, like every other weekend, and it made me realize, like, oh shit, like, hey man, like, you've got a very addictive personality. You need to chill out. And we talked about the alcohol thing. Like, I've abused alcohol like a motherfucker. And that's a tough one. You know what I mean? I'm so thankful that my abuse of alcohol has come down significantly, although being fully transparent, it hasn't completely disappeared. Like it just hasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that is one where again, it just makes you realize like shit. Like I can understand someone who's really going through some shit.
Yeah,
and has had a really rough life, and has tried this because we've all been through our shit. I'm not saying that, and I've had some certainly tough times, and I still have some tough times. I'm grateful that I'm level-headed enough to recognize that and to have gone through those experiences to acknowledge and become self-aware and cognizant of what my pitfalls could be when it comes to substances.
Yeah, and I mean, have you had any conversations with your parents?
Not about substance abuse, personally. Not about like me taking. I don't think my parents. I've alluded to the fact that I've experimented.
Yeah.
But I've never been like, hey, I actually went out and did A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
They don't need to hear that. They don't need to know that. My parents be freaking out, wilding out. But I have alluded to, I've experimented, but like I'm good, blah blah. Because my parents have too.
Yeah.
Well, my mom has it. My dad has.
And that's why I asked. Is like I just remember a conversation like. Coming full circle, of course, growing up, I saw my dad like dealing with these, substance issues, and then I was like, man, I'm never gonna be like that. I'm never gonna I literally was to the point where like growing up, like I'm not gonna be like him. That was my like whole goal. That was my thing. And then I got older, probably like 25, and I think most men grow up and this was before like anything. I was like kind of realized like, you're going through it, and just being like, what he was still, regardless of what he was going through, he was still always present throughout my life, showing up for my mom, showing up for my family, day one, being the responsibility of a man. So I was like, all right. Then once I started dabbling in substances, him and I was able to like, sit on the porch and, like smoke weed and just have conversation. And I just tell him, and I can just remember the time telling him like doing certain stuff, and he just looking at me like eyes wide open. Now he's done his fair share of stuff, and I was like, it was just, and he was just like, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it, son.
I can just think, I never would have thought it. I can just think, I'm sure he told my mom. Now, but my mom never had that conversation. Even nowadays, I know she knows that I smoke weed, but I don't ever talk about it in front of her, even and stuff like that. But she knows. But like, when my dad was funny to come full circle and be like, and for me to now like look back on it, like, damn, I understand now what he was going through and what he was dealing with, and like I get it now. But I think the one thing that helped me, or even keeps me from like having, like, I don't say worry, but like straying with the substances, is like growing up and being like, okay, I know where the limit can be, and like, I know what abuse looks like. I know what addiction looks like. I don't want to get.
And that's why it's such a fine line.
Absolutely.
Albeit for me to ever tell anybody, don't experiment, don't do anything. Like sometimes there's some things that you got to figure out for your own.
Yeah.
If you don't have a real like reason to or anything like that, like don't do it. But I'm never gonna tell somebody like, don't go experiment for yourself. It's hard because you people are young, and one of the most difficult things, or one of the most impactful things about abuse and addiction, is that it hijacks your brain's reward system.
Yes.
Right. That's one of the things that it does. And when you're young and impressionable, you seek that thrill, because that thrill is like a reward system, and you get that. And so it's just a very thin line you're tiptoeing between being crazy and being so. It's hard because, again, I tiptoed that line for sure. I definitely tiptoed that line, and I'm grateful that I was able to get. I got to the other side, and it was no issue.
I couldn't imagine had I experimented in high school, college.
I don't know where I would have been right now.
Like, bro, I couldn't.
This is a good point. We were older. Like, we were in our late 20s.
Yeah, down to 30. Like, bro, I was 28.
Yeah, I was 28.
Yeah. So I was like
26, 27 when I first
So I was like, damn. I was so grateful. I was like, man, I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with this growing up, because I couldn't imagine having to deal with this and still be like playing sports. And that's really what I'm thinking of, like playing sports, or just like I'm just so glad it's not something I had to worry about.
That's a good point. That is my advice. If you're gonna experiment, like wait till you're in your don't do this shit in high school. Don't do this shit in high school.
No.
I would even recommend. I say that it's us, and a lot of people don't do that because we did it in our late 20s, almost 30. I would recommend after 25, but again, you just have to be very cognizant and very aware.
And we're speaking like, hey, we don't recommend. We're not health professionals here.
Sorry. Yes.
We're not professionals.
Yes.
Full disclaimer. We're not telling people to do things. We're just saying if you were to do it, I would recommend it. I'm not even recommend. My opinion would be people should do it later in life.
Yes.
The later you can wait, the better.
The young impressionable mind is crazy, and yeah, it's insane. For me, growing up, we talked a little bit about like I was definitely scared of it, but like I don't recall substance abuse, drugs, or anything of that growing up around me. From any perspective, the only thing was maybe alcohol, and we talked about alcoholism. I told you my grandfather on my dad's side was an alcoholic. He passed away because of liver. Is it psoriasis? Is that the right word? I think so. Yeah. He was an alcoholic.
Yep.
I've
seen
like
a lot of
6 days a week.
Men have passed away in my community.
6 days a week.
Yep.
6 days a week, and my dad
Damn,
would tell me
he took the Sunday. That's right. You say
he took Sunday off because it was the Lord's Day. And my dad
he said he hated that day, right?
He would wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and he'd fuck off the house until 9 p.m. because that was when my grandfather was in the worst mood.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't drinking.
Yep.
But it was the Lord's Day. Imagine that. Fake Christians out here telling you it's the Lord's Day, but they sinning 6 days a week.
Yeah. Well, you can't drink on. This liquor store is not open, and when I grew up
it's in Columbia,
on Sundays, it's not open.
Yeah. It's not open here. It's open in Rhode Island though.
Yeah,
I know that for a fact.
No, but you can't even buy liquor at it. You can't even go into like on Sundays you can go into like a HEB or grocery store and get like wine and beer. You can't even get that.
Yeah, in Rhode Island they don't sell liquor in
liquor store or
gas stations
or only liquor stores.
It's only
right?
liquor. That's why it's open on Sundays.
Yeah.
It's open shorter, but you can drive over the border to Massachusetts and they do sell beer. And wines and the gas stations in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts is only 5 minutes away from us.
Yeah.
So
and then like the whole like alcohol laws and the liquor laws and all those things is just so like crazy. It's just so wet counties, dry counties. Like it's
interesting, man.
It is.
It's all interesting, man. Look, I think in conclusion, I didn't know how this episode was going to go.
Yeah,
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, the stuff that you went through. I'm sure that's impactful. And it's a very real problem. And it's also just like human nature and the psychology is so curious to me. And again, it all comes down to my understanding as I've gotten older for all of this is that nobody is born and is choosing to be a drug addict. Or be addicted to substances. That's just not what happens. There's a series of conditions in your life, events, experiences that lead people down that path.
Yes.
And it's not to say that we don't need to separate harmful people from society if that's what it leads to. But I think men having a little bit more of empathy and a little bit more of an understanding of like this isn't an excuse, but it is a reason. I think would be helpful. And until we're able to break down these systems and these structures that are in place, we're gonna continue having substance abuse problems all day. That's just what's gonna happen.
Yep.
So, anything else you want to add before we close up? And
I think that was good. I think we tied off our nice top the substance abuse and our addiction episodes, and now we can
let us know. Holla at us. We were very. I said the word vulnerable. We were very open about the shit that we've done. We're putting this on the gram and on YouTube, and future employers will be looking at this shit.
Plus 18 on this one. Right?
18 plus. But yeah, leave us your comments, leave us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't need to admit to anything. I have a feeling we're going to hear from Christy since we called her out a couple of times. This is all your fault.
Knocking on Christy door. Yeah,
God damn it.
What's going on over here?
But yeah, it was good shit. But let's go into some knowledge and fun facts we want to bestow on the people. I want you to kick it off, Herb. I want to hear what you got to talk about here. What you going to bestow on us? Herb, we're going back to space.
So we are going back to, well, kind of space. I would say this. It's so funny. I just saw this. We always reference the term light year.
Yeah.
And when people hear that, they think about it in terms of when we hear year, we think about time. And when people are saying that, these objects are in space are, a light year away, 1,000 light years away, 1,000,000 light years away. The reason why they're saying that light year is not the reference, the time it would take us to get there. It's because of the distance that it is. They're saying it's the distance.
The average person can't comprehend that. I can. You can because we're not average.
There you go.
And because we're also space nerds. So when I hear light year, I automatically think distance.
Yeah.
Because I know that's what that shit is.
Right. But when people hear year and they're just going to time. But
Correct.
The reason being when we're saying a light year, and just to give people a reference, and I know we spoke about this before, but a light year is the speed of light is constantly traveling at 83,000 miles per second.
86,000 miles per second.
So over the course of a year, that's 5.8 trillion miles. 5.8 trillion miles. Trillion miles. Like 5.8 trillion miles is 5,888 billion. Like that's crazy astronomical numbers. So that's why to break that down and make it more concise, we say a light year. And just for a reference, I know we spoke about it before, but the farthest human object that we've gotten into space is a light day.
A light day.
Coming up on a light day away. A light day away. And on the flip side of that, a solar year is 250 million years, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
A solar year. And that's when the sun...
Our solar system.
The sun orbits the solar system one time. So we're almost coming up, the last solar year, the dinosaurs are here.
They weren't even here yet. The dinosaurs didn't show up to 230 million years ago.
That's crazy.
So right around when the dinosaurs showed up is this, because the estimates are that a solar year is between 225 million and 250 million years it takes for our solar system to go completely around the Milky Way galaxy, which is between 100 and 120,000 light years across in diameter. Again. It's so funny because my fun fact is like right in the same alley. You kind of stole my thunder on a little bit. Some of it's running in the same alley. Just to add some more context to it, 180,000 miles per second speed of light. That is 11,160 miles per minute, which is 669,600,000 miles per hour is how fast speed travels. Which is, again, we can't understand, and this is why we go into light years.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. So mine is around speed. And it's the fact that we all sit on this planet Earth, and we all feel like we're not moving.
This is good.
We all feel like we're not moving. This is good. But we have never not been moving.
Yes.
Right? We've just never not been moving.
Yes.
So the Earth rotates.
Yep.
Okay? At its equator.
Yep.
About a little over 1,000 miles per hour. All right. So you think about this. This is why there's 24 hours in the day, because it takes the Earth to spin one full rotation 24 hours, which means that the diameter of the Earth is what? 24,000 miles. Now, up top around the poles, it spins a little slower.
Yes.
Because it's a round ball. If you think about it down here, it spins closer to around 800 miles per hour.
Yep.
All right. 800 miles per hour.
Okay.
Around there.
Yeah.
So we're constantly moving. And now you think, well, why don't we feel the movement of the Earth? Because we're born into it. We're so used to it. To us, this means still. This means that we're chilling.
Because we're in motion.
We've always been in motion, so we're still here. If the Earth were to completely stop just on a dime, we would all fling off at 1,000 miles per hour.
Some people fling off and other people just smash. I guess if you're directionally speaking, if you're on the far side, you just smash into if the Earth's smart, you would just literally smash into the Earth.
No,
possibly through it.
No, you would still go flying.
Oh, that's right, because it's spinning.
It's spinning. Yeah, you still go flying.
We get spinning off. Yo.
So it's super interesting.
Yeah.
So those are speeds. Okay, so you go, we always spin that. All right, even if let's say the Earth wasn't spinning and we were just stopping there.
Okay,
we'd still be moving.
Yes.
Because the Earth is rotating around the sun.
Yeah.
Orbiting around the sun, not rotating, orbiting around the sun.
Yes.
It's orbiting around the sun at around 67,000 miles per hour.
Okay.
So 67,000 miles per hour means that we have a year takes 365 days to go from one end back all the way around to the other end. And it does that at 67,000 miles per hour.
Okay.
So if you do 67,000 miles per hour times the hours in 365 days, you would get the exact diameter of our orbit.
Yeah, yes.
In distance.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if we weren't orbiting around the sun, like you just said, our solar system is orbiting around the Milky Way galaxy.
Yes.
Our solar system is orbiting around the center of our Milky Way galaxy at 504,000 miles per hour. So we are spinning on Earth at around 1,000 miles per hour. The Earth is orbiting around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. And the solar system is orbiting around the Milky Way galaxy at 504,000 miles per hour, which is crazy. And like you said here, it's about 250 million years to make one full orbit. So if you do that math, 504,000 miles per hour times the amount of hours in a year times 250 million, that would give you the miles it is around the orbit. But we're not going to do this. This is why we talk about light years.
Yes.
This is why we think about light years. Okay. Even if we were just completely still again. We're not spinning. We're not orbiting the sun. We're not moving. We're staying still. The solar system. Our galaxy is moving.
Yes.
And it's moving towards the center of our local cluster at 90,000 miles per hour. That's how fast it's moving.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't doing that, our local cluster is moving towards the Virgo cluster at 1,350,000 miles per hour. So people think of sometimes space, the layman, the average person think of space as being this, what was I going to say? This sedentary, still universe where things are just chilling there.
Yeah,
Because we can't see, we can't feel the movement of things, but we are constantly moving.
We've never been in this position before.
We've never been in this position before. Never. Well, we have in the orbit, but yes, in the grander universe, yes, because we're moving this way.
Because the universe moves because we're moving like with everything. We've never been like Earth has never been here before. If there was like if you could look on a galactic map or something, it's never been. It's just like going down the map. We on this? But are we headed to the great? What is it called?
The Great Attractor.
There we go.
The Great Attractor, which we don't know what it is.
Can't wait. Hope she's attractive.
Yeah, I hope she look good. She better be
She
bad,
better be
bro.
attractive.
Got some yams on there, dog.
The whole universe going through. We gotta get rejected and trying to get. Come on now.
And the last piece is that space-time itself, the universe itself, space itself is expanding.
Yes.
At an exponential rate.
Okay.
What does that mean is that according to the laws of physics, the fastest thing that can move through space is light. And we already gave you that. Nothing can move faster than light.
Right.
And I talked about this in one of our fun facts about the speed of light, that the photon that's moving at the speed of light, to it time, it stays still. It doesn't pass.
Yes.
Because speed of light is the fastest. But our universe is expanding faster than the speed of light.
Right.
And then everyone goes, but how is that possible? I thought the fastest thing that can move is speed of light. No, the fastest thing that can move through space is the speed of light. But if space itself,
it can move it.
It can move however fast it wants to move.
It's not bound to
It's not bound to the laws of physics like that.
Dang. Because it's so funny we talk about how far the universe is across like 250 million years or
the observable universe is 93 billion light years
across.
Observable from one end to the other right now.
But if if somehow you were able to travel that and you got to those 93 billion, we could never get to the end, because then we have to go another 93 and we have to keep going. So we can never get to the end.
We would never get to the edge of the universe.
And it's just crazy to fathom, like, bro, we in this small, like, how minute we are in this grand scheme of things. We talk about space like it's just out there. Like, bro, we know what is millions of light years away, and we're never gonna ever exert. We're never gonna see it. Nobody's ever gonna visit these places. We're never gonna be it. Like the whole alien thing I'm giving up on. It doesn't exist. It's not gonna happen. And we know about it. That is so crazy. It's just so crazy. Like the fact that we know about this, and we live on this earth, and we're surrounded by creatures that have no idea what's out there.
They don't.
And we
think
like
about
the fact that we can fathom the fact that there is space and planets and things that exist far beyond.
I can't remember who said this, but someone said that human beings are a way of the universe knowing itself.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
That's nice. I like that.
Isn't that cool?
The universe created us so that we can know about it.
Yeah,
Yo,
bro.
we putting on. Stop. I got goosebumps around this hole. Yo. Okay, we got to end on that right there.
Woo.
Damn.
Hey, for more space fun facts, we'll be back.
Yo,
we gotta do that.
We might get a whole other podcast right here. Yo, thanks for joining us again.
All right,
always.
Joe. Peace, dog. Dude.